We're here in downtown Washington with Shahid Buttar, who is running against Nancy Pelosi in the Democratic primary for Congress. And if he wins, finishes in the top two in the primary, he goes on to the general election where he'll face her in November. The last time he spoke with the Young Turks, he was calling for Pelosi to go ahead and just impeach the guy already. She has done it. So, Shahid, how has that influenced the race?
So impeachment has certainly made the case to challenge the speaker somewhat more challenging in the sense that for the first 9 months of her speakership, it was very easy to make the case, obviously, that she was complicit with the criminal president. And her continuing complicity is a little bit harder to note for people who only pay a little bit of attention to the process, because she is, of course, now showing up for a modicum of accountability. The challenge, of course, is that she not only waited for a year, during which a number of incalculable costs have happened, families that have been separated at the border, mass shootings inspired by the president's rhetoric. She also has limited the process artificially to exclude any evidence of the president's corruption in the form of emoluments violations, that is to say, his putting taxpayer funds in his pocket. My biggest concern about the impeachment inquiry is that at the same time that the speaker continues to rely on the findings of whistleblowers, she's unfortunately silencing others and keeping members of Congress in the dark about executive secrets that the public needs to know. And I'm very eager to continue making that case as we run to replace her in the House.
Now, people who think you have no shot might not have been following the Shahid Buttar race.
Right.
So just last week, a radical candidate for district attorney eked out a victory. What was your involvement in that race, and what do you think it says about your chances?
Yeah, it's very supportive of Shahid Buttar, not only in words and rhetoric, but also in action. Our campaign volunteers were pounding pavement for him for the better part of several months toward the end of the election. I also see that his victory suggests that San Francisco is still much truer to its roots than many casual observers might think. We remain a very progressive city, and it's apparent in our electoral choice to repudiate mass incarceration. That's a view that is one widely shared across the city, and while San Francisco may have been changed a lot in the last generation by the influx of particularly a number of tech workers who maybe have changed the city's racial composition, let's say, Chase's victory suggests that the newcomers remain much more friendly to San Francisco's long-established ideals, certainly more so than the speaker.
Yeah, what do you say to these newcomers who are kind of upwardly mobile? They're doing quite well. They're sitting on giant stock options. World's okay for them. How do you talk them into the political revolution?
Yeah, for them, it doesn't take much of a talking into. The key is that the reality at the moment might be okay for them, but even those folks recognize that the climate crisis threatens their interests. No amount of individual economic privilege will insulate someone from resource wars, from insufficiency, from the threats to the global food system that climate change portends. And I think even the newcomers who are very active in the tech community, they tend to be empiricists, and they recognize the failures of the status quo in defending their long-term interests, even if not their individual economic interests. A further point there is even the people who are new to San Francisco who are highly compensated remain victims of a housing crisis. And even if you make six figures in San Francisco, it could be very hard to survive in the city just given the market cost of housing. And so the housing crisis and Speaker Pelosi's role in eroding federal spending on affordable housing, that is often an easy bridge to connect people who are new to politics to our long-standing concerns about the co-optation of our city's voice in Washington.
Any last thoughts, what people should know about your race?
Appreciate that. Just that we've been demonstrating solidarity with all of the different social movements that have been active in San Francisco. I've been an active participant in every major progressive social movement of the last generation, and our campaign's been showing active solidarity with the movements to close the camps and abolish ICE, to establish universal health care, and to secure climate justice across the city. I think that demonstration of solidarity is really what's driven the outpouring of support that we've received. We've been supported by over 6,500 donors across the country. We've raised over $250,000 with a full year remaining before the election, and I have every intention of liberating our city's voice in Congress.
Oh, and the one question I've seen in the comments section a lot,
Yeah.
whenever people talk about you,
Yeah.
they say, "What's up with the hair?" Tell us the backstory.
I don't know if there is a backstory to men have been wearing their hair long for thousands of years, and I wear my hair in a top knot, mostly just to keep it out of my face. there's not much of a
No,
story
no,
to it
no
beyond
backstory.
that. Yeah, it's mostly a tool of convenience. If I knew other ways to style my hair, maybe I would try them, but it took me a year to figure out how to do this, and that's kind of what I've stuck to since.